Shop Ayres at the crossroads of the USA. Shop Tuesday through Saturday at LS Ayres today. At the sign of the clock, Shop Ayres.
Ayres clearly had, a tremendous impact on the community of Indianapolis. Everywhere you went, you met people who were involved in Ayres in some way and in the community in some way. And everywhere you went, people knew by association of their efforts in various things, they knew people at Ayres.
Customer service, it was the only thing. Nothing else mattered. But when you boil it down, if you can't give customer service, you don't need to be there.
The Legacy of Ayres was such a quality for the people that they hired. The equality, they hired you for your talents, they hired you because you could know a good job. And the merchandise, the Legacy of Ayres was the merchandise.
I just kind of went from one promotion to the next, and as you may know, Ayres was known for doing widespread promotions that affected everything from visual and advertising, special events, fashion shows, merchandising. We really tried to take it to every level of the business and promote it through all the different price points and so on. So we were given a certain level of autonomy. We could really develop and come up with wonderful promotions that continued to spark the imaginations of our customers and the community. It tied it into the community, always made something of benefit, so that, anything we did, we made sure that it benefited the community and that it benefited a cause.
Ayres always had life. You went through those rolling doors and you could just feel it. There was an energy in the store. Everybody that worked there was proud to be there and took pride in their work. And that took care of the customer service.
I remember one day we got to somebody's showroom and some young kid was in there who didn't know too much, and she said, and I introduced him, this is Mr. Lyman Ayres of LS Ayres in Indianapolis. Indianapolis, she said. Indianapolis. He was so cute, he said, yes, that's someplace between New York and California.
The way people had always spoken about it growing up was that it was sort of the place to go. It was the department store. And so whatever you purchased there was, it was quality, it was good. It was kind of that event, shopping as an event. And that was the place that you went.
If I met friends downtown, we weren't necessarily going into Ayres right then. We were just meeting downtown. It was always you met under the clock at Ayres. And it was the focal point. It was an easy place. And you would see when you were standing there waiting for your friends to arrive, there would be other people also doing the same thing.
My new husband brought me to Indiana from Washington, D.C. I met his family, and that's the first I'd ever heard of LS Ayres, because my sister-in-law had been married, and 95% of her gifts came from a place called LS Ayres. That was the first time I'd heard of it.
At first, when I first went into the store, I was a little bit intimidated, but I definitely wanted to work there. I was intimidated because I had never been in such a gorgeous store in my life, coming from a small town of 1,200 people and 36 in your graduating class. We did not exactly have a store like LS Ayres. Dudley worked downstairs at the Pearl Street entrance, and when the limousines would pull up to Pearl Street, he would go out and open the doors for the people in the limousine to get out and come into the store.
And she got her gown there. It's lovely. And we bridesmaids and matrons got our dresses. And we all went together. The cleanliness of the store in every part of it, you didn't find it in every store. You didn't see people going around with brooms and all that very often. But there was never anything on the floor. The restrooms were clean. That's an important thing to a mom who's downtown with her little ones.
I knew that it was the #1 store in Indianapolis, and as a little girl, it was our treat to take the bus and we'd come down to Ayres, and if it was back to school clothing or the big sale that was in the downstairs store, that was very special.
I remember going into the store. It was my first encounter with an escalator. I'd never seen an escalator before in my life, and I was probably 4 or 5. And so it was a little intimidating at first, but by the 3rd or 4th floor, I think we all had it down, and I just remember it just kept going on and on and on. It seemed like we went up those flights of stairs forever.
Did it lose a little bit of its grace and formality? It seemed that way to me. It was a big loss.
It was a big part of our history. And when it closed, I think a lot of people felt like we did, which was a personal loss, a grief, really. I don't think it's ever been the same. I think it was the hometown ownership, even though it had been a long time since really the family had owned it, it still had that feel to those of us who shopped there. So I think it was a loss historically, and I think the grace and the formality, all of that.
So we were seeing the downtown decline and decay. And we did lots of activities and events downtown to sustain our flagship store. What can we do to get this downtown going again? Now, you look at it today, and it's the pride of the country. And what's happening down here with all the sports things and venues and activities. And let me tell you, back in the 60s when I went to work there, when we closed up the doors at 5:30 and walked out in the streets, they were empty.
People once said to me about Ayres, it was sort of the center of downtown, it seemed to me. It was right in the middle of everything. Anybody who was going anywhere would say, meet me under the clock at Ayres, or everyone would go to Ayres for whatever they were going to do. So it seemed like it was the heart of the city. And when it stopped, it affected a lot of people. We missed it a lot.
I think integrity, I think quality, and I think the happy memories that most of the people in the city of Indianapolis and surrounding area of Indiana have of their time spent at Ayres, of Ellis Ayres Company. And it brings tears to my eyes because it is special.